on to our first panel discussion for the day on redefining telcos enterprise customer experience. I would now like to call upon my panelists for this session. Arun Karna, Managing Director and CEO, AT&T India. Arun is an experienced business leader with more than 29 years of experience in telecom and IT industry. He has been with AT&T for more than 18 years, for which he is now the Executive Director for AGNSI. His responsibilities include overseeing AT&T's sales and customer engagements throughout the country. He has helped in reinforcing the AT&T brand through speaking on various public forums in India. Welcome, Mr. Arun. Our next panelist, Dharmender Khajuria, National Head Network Partnership, Airtel. He has more than 30 years of experience in telecom and consumer durables, a dynamic business leader who has been CEO for various circles within Airtel, currently heading network partnerships for Bharti Airtel at national level. He has been the chairperson of Telecom Infrastructure Committee of COAI and working closely with various industry bodies and forums to ensure the best of ROW policies for building digital India. Welcome, Mr. Khajuria. Please have a seat, gentlemen. Our third panelist, Himanshu Gupta, Country Manager, Telecom, Media and Entertainment, HPE. Himanshu has more than 19 plus years of experience in sales and marketing in IT. A team leader possessing people management skills, excellent interpersonal communication and organizational skills. An avid learner with a strong work ethic, eager to build strong teams who can work passionately to deliver solid results with determination and teamwork. Welcome, Himanshu, sir. Our next panelist, the lady on the panel, Sheena Joseph, Customer Service Head for the Enterprise Business of Vodafone Idea Limited. In her current role, she leads the National Customer Service for Enterprise Business covering all products, customer segments, and geography. A rich experience of over 24 years in the telecom customer service area, Sheena has worked with leading brands such as Reliance, Jio, and many others. A strong advocate of empathy-led design thinking principles and has been credited for incubating the concept of customer lifecycle management in almost every enterprise product. Welcome to the panel, Sheena. Our next panelist, Tilak Raj Dua, Director General, DIPA. Mr. Dua is a renowned face and voice of the digital infrastructure industry. With over 35 years of experience, Mr. Dua has been continuously working for the growth of digital infrastructure sector in the country. Under his leadership, DIPA continues to play the role of a thought leader for the industry and support the diverse community of stakeholders by providing dedicated resources, advocacy, expertise, and networking. Welcome, Mr. Dua. And the session will be moderated by Anil Chopra, Vice President Research and Consulting, CyberMedia Research. He is a technology, media, and market research specialist with 20 plus years of experience in driving CIO and SMB related initiatives, media management, content strategy, business tech writing, and market research. Over to you, Anil.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? Great. Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and it's a privilege to be moderating this discussion around redefining enterprise customers or telcos, how they can redefine the customer experience. But before we can actually redefine a customer experience, we have to understand what the customer really wants. And if I look at their wants, I look at how their needs have actually evolved rapidly over the recent past, thanks to the pandemic. Rapid digitalization has caused their needs to evolve of using more and more of digital technology, more and more of connectivity, more and more of data. And it's going to evolve even further. I don't know at what pace, probably the same or maybe faster now that 5G is coming in. As we start seeing more and more use cases of 5G coming in, we'll see probably the network traffic evolve, the data volume skyrocket, because that's the whole promise of 5G and the use cases around that. So I think if I look at these two parameters itself, it's important to for telcos to gear up for providing the right experience. Now, to understand that, it's important to start with what are some of the challenges currently that the customers are facing. So let me start with you, Arun.
Sure.
Maybe you can tell us about currently, if I look at the current scenario of digitalization, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing that customers are facing that can be, we need to resolve from telco side to give them the right experience that they want?
First of all, thank you, Anil, for framing this so beautifully, and thank you for having me here. So you've already sort of given a cue, the rapid change, the evolution, the transformation that's been happening. And what that has done to the enterprise scenario is it has certainly increased the complexity level of the technology environment of the enterprise customers. So let me try and paint a picture here. So thanks to the rapid adoption of digital technologies and digital transformation, enterprises themselves have got more and more distributed, and they've expanded to the edge. There is a lot of data, enterprise data now at the edge, a lot of IoT related data. Then because of the work from anywhere or hybrid work environments, there is a need to provide access in a secure and reliable manner to critical enterprise applications. And where do these enterprise applications reside more and more? It's in the cloud. So there is a massive push towards cloud adoption. Not only that, the push is towards multi-cloud environments and hybrid environments. So that's very complex in itself. There is a huge uptake of SaaS-based applications in the enterprise scenario again. So what it is doing is really making this a very dynamic scenario in terms of the customer's own technology environment. And you couple that with their business environment, which is again very dynamic, with constantly changing needs for the business. And you've got the sort of perfect storm. And what it has sort of fallout effects as well. So there's a certain ramp up in security concerns, for example, because the threat surface itself has widened a lot. On the other hand, you couple it with rising customer expectations. So in fact, we were having a good dialogue around this, that customers, at an individual level in the consumer space, they're so used to instant access to services and information, and they sort of expect the same in the enterprise scenario as well. So, Sheena put it beautifully. So they want the speed of retail, but the class of enterprise. Yeah. But they want it all, which is fair. And if you look at the competitive scenario for telcos ourselves, for example, the competition is coming from everywhere, even from non-traditional sources. So cloud service providers are now, competitors to telcos. Hyperscalers are competitors to telcos. They're also collaborators and partners, but also competition at the same time. So this is what we are faced with, really. So what do telcos then do? So I think telcos have to think their strategy radically differently. They have to start seeing themselves not only as communication service providers, but what I would say network-centric technology solutions provider. I know it's a mouthful, but hopefully that paints a picture again for you. So what does that mean? It means that you have to come up with a different set of product and services mix. Those services and experience have to be digital in nature. You have to rethink your customer experience. You have to rethink your relationships, both customer relationships and supplier relationships. You have to invest more and more in innovation. You have to sort of also upskill and change the level of your technology functions, the operational support functions, everything. You have to invest more and more into platforms and platform-centric businesses. And of course, all this towards a view that you want to make the customer experience a lot better, simpler, more intuitive. So the investments have to be in that direction. So of course, when you talk of customer experience, the goal should be how do you make it very, very simple and intuitive for them to use your services and also do business with you as an enterprise. So maybe it calls for opening up your APIs to them so that they can integrate their systems and processes seamlessly with you. Of course, you have to make sure that your networks and services themselves are secure and regulatorily compliant so that they can be compliant. You can offer value-added services like IoT and data analytics as part of your integrated services. But I think overall what you have to do is be far more responsive to their needs, far more agile, And the speed of retail, but the class of enterprise has to be maintained. So those were my sort of opening thoughts on the subject.
Thank you. I think as easy as it may sound, I think there's a long path ahead for telcos
Absolutely.
to really deliver that kind of experience with the kind of simplicity that you mentioned.
Sure.
I noted down a few keywords that you mentioned, and which is where I'll ask my next question to Dharmender. Uh, Around, the data moving to the edge, applications moving to the cloud, computing happening outside the data center for a lot of enterprises, which basically means overall rising network complexity. And for telcos to be able to provide that connectivity and to be able to provide a seamless experience, I think that foundation first has to be really, really worked on, made agile, security becomes important, and adaptable. So what are your views around that? How do you really maintain and build such a network in this kind of a complex environment? And how do you really balance it all out?
Yeah, thanks, Anil. I think for all the uninitiated people sitting here, while I assume that everybody knows about enterprise, but let me try to paint a picture for an enterprise, since we are discussing enterprise customer experience. So enterprise, when we think of enterprise, normally we think of a swanky office, say in Knat Place, having some branch offices in Noida, Faridabad, etc., etc. But enterprise is not like that. Enterprises can be a bank having a branches in urban, semi-urban, rural areas. Enterprise can be a mining kind of a enterprise, which is mining in the deep rurals of Odisha. So there are different kind of enterprises. So like Anil said, the complexity of serving an enterprise becomes much more complex. I'm using the word complexity, become much more complex. Let me try to make it very simple, the kind of challenges which we face, and then I will come to what you asked me. I think I make it very simple, saying there are 3 C's and 3 S when we are serving an enterprise. What is the 3 C's? First C is the connectivity. Okay, connectivity is the backbone. Everything what we are trying to serve a customer, ultimately it needs to be connected, whether on 2G or 4G or 5G or 6G going forward. The connectivity has to be reliable, because the enterprise has to all the applications of the enterprise has to work on those connectivity. Next comes the cost. If a telco has to serve a customer, enterprise customer will definitely look at having some kind of solution which are very, very cost effective and optimum, because nobody would like to see in this kind of a dynamic world, this kind of VUCA world, nobody would like to see their cost rising. So that is another big challenge which a telco faces. Connectivity, cost, and then comes your sorry, I'm forgetting the next C. I'll come back to that. Coming to the 3S. First comes the security. As pointed out by Mr. Anil, that security, enterprises deal with the consumer's data. They deal with a huge data points. Just to make sense of those data, first of all, those data points need to be protected. And if you're trying to protect, that means the telco has to provide an integrated solution which carries all the firewalls, which carry all the, all the security, so that no intrusion can happen, no breaches can happen in those data, and those data should not be in the public domain. So that is, first C. Second is the scalability. Let's look at a bank. Bank is opening certain branches. Okay, currently somebody is sitting at say 500 branches, and next day, they want to open 500 more. So how do we scale it up? All of a sudden, some enterprises whom a telco is serving, gets an order that these are the new 50 branches which we want to serve. Now then comes the question of connecting these branches. When we are connecting these branches, that means either on RF, which is a radio, either you connect them on radio or you give them some kind of fiber. Now getting a fiber to these locations become a huge challenge because of all the ROW rules and regulations, and each state has a very, very different rules and regulations to deal with. So it is not so easy for any telco to serve enterprise customer. And of course, like Mr. Anil said, the kind of expectations which enterprise is having from a telco, because customer service, I'm coming back to the third C, is the customer support. He said experience, I'm coming to the support part of it. Now, customer support is a very generic word, but when we come to, for a enterprise, it has to be a personalized service. I mean, any small flick, Now just imagine if you're serving a food delivery company. As an enterprise customer, you're serving a food delivery company, you cannot expect a simple flip-flap, because that flip-flop can, can mar the reputation of that food delivery company, or say car rental company. Just imagine these are the kind of enterprise customers whom a telco is trying to serve these days. So all in all, I'll say very, very complex situation right now, because if I talk about the complexity of the network, like Anil asked me, it is now all the data, most of the data are lying in the customer enterprise, the premises. Now, if the edge computing has to happen, if the data has to move really fast, then latency has to be very low. That means the data has to reside at the edge, and for doing that, customer has to be mentally ready to spend that kind of money. And at the same time, telco has to partner with the SIs, system integrators, or the experts who are really, really expert in their domains, to help telco. Because as a telco, we are into connectivity business, we are not into solution providing business. So we definitely need to partner with the experts in their domains, so that we give a integrated solution to a enterprise customer, because the customer is expecting from us. He's not expecting a piecemeal, to be served by different vendors. He's expecting a single solution from a telco, and that makes a slightly complex situation for all of us to serve a enterprise customer. Thank you.
Yeah, I think good valid points you've raised, especially the part about, it's no longer just telco providing just simple connectivity, but you need to have an ecosystem of, working with various partners to be able to provide the right solution to an enterprise. And, especially the part about data moving to the edge, and because that increases the complexity of the network. How do you make sure that you can provide the right application experience to the customers? Customers are not loyal anymore. As far as if I take the food delivery example, you order from somebody, you don't like the experience, you switch to somebody else. That's the loyalties that have happened on customer side. So which is basically where my next question comes to you, Himanshu. There is something that is now coming in called multi-access, edge computing, which is kind of helps to reduce this latency that we talked about, for enterprise applications, at the edge, and remote locations and all that. What are your views around that, using this MEC for telcos? What are the imperatives there? Some of the challenges, and how can it benefit customers?
Sure. So I will carry from what where Dharmender left. He talked about 3Cs and 3S. I think 3S he covered. He missed the last one. I heard security and scalability. I'm sure the third one is equally important. But the first three factors, which are around cost, your connectivity, and customer service, I think they form the basis of any initiatives of telco. So in the year 2015, ETSI, which is the European Telecommunication Standards Institute, a non-profit government body, which was looked into some of these aspects, how the various stakeholders can come and make the life easy for customers, enterprises, and leverage some of the low latency use cases. And that's where MEC was born, which is multi-access edge computing. Now, it's being very loosely used with edge computing. Actually, it is a subset of edge computing, because this is a very governed standards. It's an open standardized framework, an architecture which is built by HC under their industry specifications group, ISG. And it lays down those standards to ensure that the content providers, application developers, they get cloud computing capabilities and IT service environment for their applications at the edge of the network. Now that's like getting a local cloud developed for them, with all the concerns taken care around security and other issues. Now that's not easy. So it's a very robust framework. And for the last, I would say 8 years, there's the phase 3 going on, and all the efforts are to streamline and make these specifications as lucid and easy for the industry to adopt. The third phase, which is going on, is taking care of hybrid complex cloud deployments, and that's where the specifications are moving from one level of maturity to the other. Now that also poses a sort of complexity towards telcos. If I look at the imperatives, why they need it, MEC is something which gives a very, very open framework. So everybody in the value chain, starting from the telco, to the platform vendor, to the ISV, to the OTT player, to system integrators, to technology providers. Everybody in the value chain can come and actually monetize. They can see to launch services, because you've actually catering to very low latency requirement applications. The guys can build applications, somebody can deploy it, somebody can orchestrate it. But it also poses a lot of challenges for telcos, because if they have to lead it, they should know the complete game as an end-to-end collaborator here, and work with all the stakeholders to make this very successful. So the concerns around privacy, data security, these are the imperatives which actually push enterprises to see that they're able to manage everything locally within their data centers. And the different models in which a MEC can be deployed. It can be deployed on customer premises, which is a private MEC. It can be a hybrid MEC, which is, say, near the RAN. It can be near the edge data center, and you will find a lot of hyperscalers like AWS, Google, Azure. They have their MEC platforms already launched in the market, because they see a lot of value, a lot of commitment from the industry to see that this is successful. So different models, different problems, but at the same time, one thing is for sure: if telcos put the act together and able to address these challenges again can be in the form of technology challenges, it can be GTM challenges, it can be operational challenges, and some of it obviously has been covered. For example, becoming a system integrator, it's not easy for a telco, but once they decide that they have to literally go and launch this a service or build this platform and collaborate, I think they can take care of the challenges one by one. For example, on the technology side, if they have to look at end-to-end ecosystem build up, they have to start somewhere, and they have to work with the ISVs and the application developers well in advance. Second is around privacy and data concerns. Uh, if security becomes an area, they have to ensure that the technologies which are being used at the edge are SASE compliant. And that's where I think these partnerships become so important. Third is around the monetization. When you have to monetize a business model, I think they have to look at how to de-risk the investments. And telcos, I read yesterday only in ET that there are 6 lakh crores in debt overall as an industry, and they need a lot of help from the government to overcome these issues. So how to have a foolproof business model, because this is something which is experimented. So these are some of the challenges. But if you look globally, I believe a lot of good work has happened in North America, Europe, and in, say, Korea. For example, South Korea Telecom has already launched its MEC platform way back, I guess, around 2020. And they're offering it to various broadcasters across the globe. And I just read 2 days back, they've launched it to Sinclair broadcasters in US for deploying their applications on their platform. And it's a joint venture, and it's a joint collaboration which they have done. So like that, I would say, Rajiv, it's an evolving field. Not every telco has taken it as a very, very key step. Like private 5G, people are looking at it as an opportunity, but there are roadblocks to be crossed. But it's a great opportunity for the entire industry.
Thanks. Before I move to Sheena, I think Arun wanted to make a comment.
Yeah,
so.
no, great points here. I'd like to add from our experience of MEC. We all know that most technologies actually work in a combinatorial fashion. So when it comes to MEC, it's the 5G and MEC combination which really delivers for you, because 5G is the real enabler in terms of the low latency, high speed, high bandwidth. So that's one point. The other point I'd quickly like to make is the importance of ecosystems. No one can do it alone. So, for example, with our experience again, we built a whole 5G edge compute ecosystem in partnership with both Microsoft as well as Google. And that is a real payoff, really. It has to be an ecosystem play. System integrators, hyperscalers, cloud providers, and telcos working together. So just 2 quick points.
Yeah, absolutely. I think ecosystem is very critical. Again, it has been brought up. Yeah, Himanshu.
I just want to add, you're right. I think, Arun, it's a chicken egg story. Somebody say MEC started 2015, 5G's come now. Should 5G be the enabler for MEC to become more proficient and adaptable in the market? Or should be otherwise, that since MEC has been there, can 5G adopt MEC and actually create floodgates for itself? So it's a good debate to have. And I think, yes, the opportunity lies.
I was talking from our experience in the US. So thank you.
That's probably a good debate, and we can probably save it off for offline. So, but continuing back on that discussion, good that you shared your views around MEC and some of the ecosystem challenges and all. But coming back to the customer experience, I think we discussed importance of network, we discussed importance of MEC, but there are other things also. There's a lot of data that is being generated by the customer, right? And it's important to be able to analyze that, monitor that, so that customer experience can be enhanced. Sheena, what are your views around that?
I think enterprise, given the variety of the solutions that are there, right from the mining that Himanshu spoke about, and the type of connectivity being the basic backbone. And when I say connectivity, it's about voice, data, or SMS. The plethora of data that is available is so vast that you can build a lot of solutions just on the data, as well as give a lot of insights to customers just based on the data itself. Just to give you some perspectives of, let's start from how a customer wants to reach a touch point. How do we use the data analytics or the data available to say that, yes, this is an area where your network is not doing well, and hence you might receive calls from this area. That's the predictive part. And be ready with solutions to that in terms of optimizing the network and proactively working on that, to building products and solutions. Customers who access data extensively on weekends, so then build a solution saying that weekends you have rollover data and give them a better proposition for it on there. In case of, again, on the network side, you can use your mean time between failures to actually predict, saying that what is the mean time before a failure that comes. And all that is built on a network data, intrinsic insights that come to your this thing there. I think from a solution and product proposition, cloud, as we were speaking about, has become so intrinsic there. Okay, when we analyze data usage of cloud, you see sometimes there's a lot of upload or a lot of download there, and build solutions which specifically talk about on-demand upload solutions, so specifically on. So enterprise is all about customizing your solution to the customer's requirement, and that's what differentiates it from a one-fit-all solution of consumers. I think that is the key difference of enterprise. And so how do you use these data insights? And if you look at, for example, a customer's voice usage has dropped or a data usage has dropped, and you start wondering why. So these are insights that are available right now also, but can be used for the end user to actually predict his piece there. A lot of solutions of IoT give you, as when is the stock level low, or in terms of battery, which is used in electric vehicles. You can actually get insights on, look, your electric vehicle battery is low, and hence, time to recharge. Connected cars, the data gives you a lot of insights, and is now being used to build solutions which say that, hey, this thing requires servicing, or your petrol is low, and you can predictably meet your requirements. I think data in the enormity of what is available gives you a lot of action points, and that's where big data also comes in. I think this entire data that is available is also from the voice form and can be used for example, building humanoids, which actually can do customer service and address queries and make it available for 24/7 operations. So you really don't need someone to be in the night shift and work their health off when you have a humanoid solution based on the data that is already available and that can address customer needs. So I think there are enormous number of solutions that are available. It's just that how we use it and how we build the use case to address different. And I think, like I said, in enterprise, you can have a vehicle tracking solution which is based on a SIM card, to a cloud-based requirement of a personal backup, to a mining solution, to the variety is so huge, and the data that is available can be used in many different ways there. I think that gives a lot of this thing to us to do.
Right. I think valid point. Yeah, Dharmender, you want to add to that?
So I think Sheena has covered most of the points, but I'll just add to that. What kind of value as a telco we can add to the enterprise customer. There are large number of data points available. Basis those data, I think I think she covered that relating to product, say the customer segmentation. Basis the customer segmentation, the enterprise can decide what are the new products and services what can be launched. Similarly, I think the data points, basis the data points, you can always predict the behavior of the customer and the liking of the customer, and basis that again the new services are all these data points can help an enterprise customer to engage with their customers and retain their customer. I think that is a huge value which a telco can make, and telco has got that, all the data points available, because the usage patterns, the demographics, and all these data points can help enterprise. That is the value we can add. Thank you.
Absolutely, I think I agree. Mr. Dua, I think you may want to add on to that, but besides just using analytics to analyze all the data, I think there's also use requirement for many other things, like automation is required. You can't just keep analyzing data or doing a lot of processes, following them manually. You need automation, you need AI, you probably need more on the programmatic side. What are your views around that for enhancing the customer experience? We have moved beyond the network layer to the data analytics layer. Now we come to the software layer. What are your reviews around that, sir?
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to congratulate CyberMedia for completing 40 years on this. Congratulations. And also, I think, having heard all of you, is like a 3 days match or 5 days match. You come as a night watchman, having heard that. Let me just divide into 2-3 parts. One, there's a lot of, sometimes disconnect comes between a customer service and a customer experience. I think customer experience defines your business, which is very important. Let me just give you one example of Warren Buffett. I think he's a global investor. He used to say it takes 20 years to build up a customer, but it can take you 5 minutes to do that. I think that is important. As far as the technology, what you said, the AI, IoT, M2M, etc. See, first of all, what you need is to meet those challenges. Whether are you going to again make those customers understand those technologies, and with that technology evolution, what we have seen is from 2G, 3G, 4.5, and 5, and so on. So, what you see is the customer expectation is rising day by day. So, therefore, it's very important that we consistently monitor what he wants and why does he want. It is very important. And then what we need is to always to respond to his query. Actually, it is a end-to-end. It's not one time, the one guy can provide this customer experience. I think from front desk to the billing, I think everyone will have to do that. So therefore, whether it is AI, whether it is M2M, that is what is required. What is required is to make understand, and with the technology evolution which is coming, it's very important, the customer is made to understand. It's very, very difficult. I think if you look at what Steve Jobs used to say, my first job is to ensure customer experience and then work backward toward the technology part of it. It's important is when you have all those technology, the back end, what you need is how is it going to help your revenues? Is it going to again bring the loyalty to this? The third one is how long is going to continue, and then also how long are you going to continue to respond to his query, which is very important. So therefore, I think it's important always is to continue to enroll him with the new technologies, which is where you talk of the edge computing. I think edge computing is a customer, and we are just close to the customers with low latency, data available, immediate requirement can be filled up. And then therefore, if you talk of AI, another thing, I think you can do the personalization, you can do the predictive maintenance, what you need. These are the issues what we need to do, look at when the technology is evolving. And we have seen those evolution from 2G, 2.5G and all, I think day by day. And take a case of COVID itself. I think where were we about 2.5 years back? And where are we today? I don't think people would have realized that this is the fastest that we need to respond to this. This is why I thought just share. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think we don't have much time, so I'm just going to ask one last question to all the panelists, and you can quickly sum up your answer. Ultimately, we're all supporting organizations in their digital transformation journey, because that's what it boils down to. Everyone's trying to look at rapid digitalization. How can telcos really support them on their journey? I'll request all of you to give the answer from your perspective. So, Sheena, maybe we can start with you.
Telcos to support the digitization journey and the entire journey to solutions is one of the most right places, whether you look at a 5G private network or whether you look at the various solutions that are there in the market, or even from a work from home enablement, which requires data and connected cars, which requires sensors, or a food Zomato, or this thing which requires connectivity there. I think the entire range of solutions that is there in enterprise is the key selling factor of telcos to enable businesses. And I think that by itself is a very USP of the sector, that you can provide just about anything to enable a business to grow smart and become better in this today's world. So that's the proposition we have.
Himanshu?
Yeah, so I think it's a very vast question, because the moment you talk about digital transformation of a customer and how telcos or even companies supporting telcos can add value to it, I think let me take a step back and give a brief perspective on what HP did. Our CEO, Mr. Antonio, in 2018 announced that we are going to be a edge to cloud platform as a service company. By 2023, we will have all the products sold under our belt will be sold as a service, as a subscription. Now, why he took that strategic step at that time, 5 years back, when everybody is talking about public cloud, and only public cloud? He said the world is going to be hybrid, and he made that statement, with a lot of confidence and vision. And today, our vision to put everything as a service is true. We can offer almost everything today. 5 years down the line, that statement was made. Now, if you look back and see what we have done to build this vision and to execute it as a strategy, I can tell you we have had, I was counting yesterday, we had 25 acquisitions since 2015, and 10 of those acquisitions happened in the last 3 years. And imagine 2 years was COVID. Still, we were able to acquire 10 companies. Last 2.5 months, we acquired 3 companies. We acquired, last one was OpsRamp for IT operations management. The one before that was around Athonet. It was to do with the private 5G, and it's a player which is available with deployments in more than 1,000 customers. 450 deployments we have done only on the private 5G core, and they started in 2005. And with the 4G core, LTE, IMS, and now they're into 5G core. So we saw that there are 3 big waves which are coming. One is the edge, one is the data, other is the cloud. And we were very clear on the hybrid cloud part. On the data, we realized that we have to have the software technologies which can help us build the right data fabric and the right data management platforms and data services platform. And that's where we ensured that our entire journey as a company revolves around GreenLake. So HP GreenLake Cloud Platform, the AV which you saw just an hour back, was all around how you build the platform, and you can orchestrate different resources like compute, storage, networks, the platform, operating system, everything from one single console on the control plane, which is on a HP GreenLake Central Cloud, and manage everything seamlessly. So simplification is a very, very big element. And when you look at enterprise customers, what they're looking from telcos are good at providing, as he said, connectivity, customer service, optimizing the cost at the right price, security. But who is building the technology platform? Who can give the simplified cloud-led experience on their premises? I think we saw that vision and we're executing the vision now. So when it comes to enterprises, I think we have to look at data, cloud, connectivity, and as we all know, intelligent edge or connected edge is the way going forward. With Athonet now combined as private 5G player, and with our Aruba services, which has wired, wireless, SASE-based security, and the end-to-end management platforms available, I can actually orchestrate compute, storage, networks for customers, for enterprise customers, along with our partners with telcos, and build that platform for them, our hybrid cloud, and offer it as a service. No, we also take care of the economics. So there's a huge, huge wave which is coming up on these 3 aspects of data, cloud, and edge. And I think every element has to be very, very smartly managed and addressed. That's the way we can help the telcos build the technology platforms.
Can I add?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Thank you very much. I think having gone through the technology, I think we always say customer is a king, and customer is at the center of it. 2-3 things what we need to remember is you make huge investment in the customer experience that will help you in marketing. Number 1. Number 2, most of the time we do not wish to respond to the query. I think feedback is very, very important. Positive feedback, you will always love it. I think best is to answer the negative feedback, which should become a part of your customer experience, which is why we'll take you through. This is just done. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Dharmender.
I think a telco can help enterprise, in their digitalization journey, as we said, from a concept stage to the strategizing, to the implementation, doing a POC, to the implementation, and afterwards, giving the feedback or creating the dashboards to monitor the progress. I think that is what a telco can do. But having said that, we are not only in the connectivity business, we are definitely looking at, partnering with the best of the world technology firms, or the platforms, or the hyperscalers, to create an integrated solution. This is what a enterprise customer is looking at. Number two, I think, having said all these things, it will boil down to two words, which is delivery and assurance. An enterprise customer would like to see the delivery of the project at the right time, and of course, afterwards, the assurance has to be there that every time, 24/7, 365 days, the network is up and running, the services are working, the applications are running, so that the customers of enterprise are, happy. That is what we will support. Thank you.
Thank you. Arun, I think we'll probably last person to share
Sure.
the conclusion.
My answer would be very brief, but maybe rather emotional and controversial as well. So, I think all the other esteemed panels have touched upon aspects of it. So, successful digital transformation journey for the end customer, it has to be an ecosystem play. I think we all agree. So, telcos have to come to play, hyperscalers, cloud providers, SaaS application providers, platform players, so on and so forth. My sort of proposition here is that no one is closer to the customer, and no one understands the customer better than the telco, because they've been there in the journey all along. So my proposition would be that the telco should be the one who sort of is the coordinator in chief of that ecosystem play and really bring it all together for the end customer. I know there could be arguments for and against it, but this is my biased view, that telco is closest to the customer in their digital transformation journey.
No,
I'll
absolutely.
just add to what Arun said. I agree with him to a large extent. They are the closest, and they have the real estate in terms of the edge data centers. They have the connectivity. They have already, solutions in the IoT space and other where they're connected to customers. It is all about they getting their act together, pulling everybody, like the right technology platforms, the right partnership with the hyperscalers, and build a package for customers. And that's where I think Indian telcos are gearing up. A lot of discussions are happening among all the telcos with all the technology players. We are also involved, where they want to monetize. And, there's a lot of investment which has gone, I forgot how many billions of dollars, some 88,000 crores went into 5G auctions. And unless they monetize this quickly, it is all the money which is not being leveraged. So absolutely, collaboration and connect with the customers with the right customer experience is the way going forward.
Thank you.
Great. So I think our time is up. I'll skip the Q&A. Maybe we can take it offline after this. So thank you so much for sharing your insights and views. I think it was a very interesting discussion. The important thing is, I think, to learn is that it's an ecosystem. It's all about an ecosystem. It's not the network. It's not just the applications, but it's the overall ecosystem that is required today to be able to serve the customer. So thank you so much, gentlemen. And I'll pass it back.
Thank you so much.